Lemoore Fan by David Smith. Part 4 of Mojave Crossing. The kids were up first, which woke Maggie. "Morning, my love," she whispered to Kevin. He woke up but didn't want to come out of his haze and snuggled into her. "It sounds like they're at least trying to be quiet," she said. "The shushing is louder than their talking," and they laughed together. "How many times have I told you I love you today?" Kevin asked. "None yet," she whispered. "I love you, I love you, I love you," Kevin whispered. "That's good for a start," Maggie says, and they continue to hold each other. "Are you enjoying the book?" Maggie asks. "Yes, I am. It's really exciting," Kevin answers. "Tell's a tough guy. He meets a pirate and bonds with him. His name is Ben Mandarin. He has a scar over one eye, and he notices Tell looking at it. It turns out Tell's grandfather put it there, and he told Tell and his brothers a story of their fight as they were growing up. Mandarin asked Tell to help him get some treasure he has stashed somewhere near the beach. He plans to pay off the crooked banker who's trying to foreclose on his ranch. They had just got back to the ranch with the treasure when I stopped reading." "I think I'll read it when you're done," Maggie said. "Really?" Kevin looked at her. "Maybe I've started something here." "Yeah, I think you have," Maggie says. "I remember when I read Lemoore's books in high school. It somehow made me feel closer to my father and Tom, my stepfather." She hesitated. "Just like you said last night." Then she looked into Kevin's face and said, "Why don't we read them out loud to each other?" Kevin stared into her eyes. "Like we did in college?" "Why not?" Maggie responded. "That was romantic." They hugged and Maggie continued. "Well, it's 7:15. We'd better get up and see what they're doing out there." She kisses Kevin and climbs out of the sleeping bag. He follows her and they quickly dress and go outside of the tent. Trudy is standing in front of the Coleman stove cooking. Junior is holding a paper plate, then Trudy scoops scrambled eggs onto it. Stacy is at the picnic table setting out the plastic silverware, paper plates, coffee, and other condiments. A plate of bacon and another plate of hash browns is sitting on the table. The three of them enjoy doing this for their parents when they're camping. "This is so nice of you three," Maggie said. "Why can't you do this when we're home?" "We're too busy at home, Mom," Stacy said. The other two agreed, and they all laughed. Junior places the plate of eggs in the middle of the table alongside the hash browns and bacon. Then the kids serve Kevin and Maggie. They wink at each other and thank the kids. The kids sit on the other side of the table and make their own plates, and they all begin eating. The three of them can't stop talking about the raft ride. They've been looking forward to it since Kevin and Maggie first brought it up several months ago. This would be their first raft ride. Kevin and Maggie had been on several, but waited for the kids to get older before they took them. They'd be taking the family ride today, the least dangerous. The three of them loved roller coasters and had been on the water rides at Magic Mountain and Disneyland. They always had fun in them and seemed to be fearless. When they finished eating, everyone pitched in to clean up. By 8:45, everything was put away and the camp was clean. They were scheduled to meet the river guide by 10:30 in Kernville. Getting into the van, Maggie has Mojave Crossing in her hand. "I'll start on this while you're driving," Maggie says. "I'm not going to wait until you're done. Since you started this one, we'll read the next one together." Driving to Kernville, they arrive at the river rafting office in plenty of time. While Kevin and Maggie go in to sign paperwork, the kids watch their guide, who introduces himself as Joe, hitch the trailer carrying the raft to the rafting company's van. Within a few minutes, Kevin and Maggie come out and they all hop into the van. Arriving at the launch area, they help Joe take the raft off of the trailer and put it into the water. Once everyone is in the raft with their life jackets on, Joe double checks to make sure the plastic clips are fastened properly. Then he has them help him paddle out into the river. They practice Joe's instructions of paddle forward, back paddle, and hold up for 10 minutes. This area of the river is very calm. Once they start downriver, the current picks up and Junior asks, "Where are the rapids?" "A few more minutes," Joe answers. They all look ahead for them. Soon the current gets stronger and they can see the water is getting choppy. "Paddle forward," Joe said. They all do, and after a few strokes with the oars, Joe shouts, "Hold up!" Now the raft is dipping up and down. Water is splashing. They're all screaming and laughing with woo-hoos, awesome, and yays. Joe's commands were only heard by Kevin and Maggie. The kids are lost in their excitement. Kevin and Maggie are enjoying their reactions and are glad they're enjoying themselves. When the water calmed down, Trudy asked, "How many more rapids are there?" "2 more runs," Joe answers. "It's about 10 minutes to the next one." Maggie's stepfather, Tom, had introduced her and her mother to Kern River when Maggie was 12. They had celebrated her birthday here. She loved it from the beginning. Her mother enjoyed it too. Maggie and Tom had become pals that day. The three of them went to Kern at least twice a year to ride the rapids. They had taken several hands-on training runs by professional guides to build up their experience for the more dangerous rapids. Every year the amount of water in the river varied depending on the rainfall each year. Either way, they always had a good time. Maggie introduced Kevin to a lot of things he'd never done before. She was very adventurous and he'd adapted to her. Her real father had also enjoyed outdoor activities. They'd gone horseback riding and hiking in the local San Gabriel Mountains as far as the San Gabriel River. Maggie was only 6 when he died, but she was old enough to remember a lot of good times. They were floating along the river with the current, enjoying the scenery and relaxing. They saw a couple of deer drinking water. They all liked to see the wildlife of the area. Then the next rapids came and the kids were laughing and screaming once again. They had another quiet area before they got to the final rapids. Joe started telling stories about raft rides with more and stronger currents in other areas of Kern River. Kevin and Maggie told him they'd also been on some of those. Stacy, Trudy, and Junior said they want to try them too. They all went for a swim, then Joe had to pull them back into the raft. They were unable to climb in on their own due to the high sides of the raft. It was impossible to jump in from the water. Joe pulled them in by their life jackets. The third set of rapids came, and 10 minutes later the ride was over. It went too fast, the kids complained. Next time we'll take a longer ride, Kevin promised. On the way back to camp in their own van, the kids were already talking about the next trip and a 2-hour raft ride or an overnighter. They told Kevin and Maggie it was more fun than Magic Mountain. It was real, not like a ride at the amusement park. Then they were making plans for the rest of the day with their inner tubes and inflatable rafts to play in the river with. There was a nice calm area in the river near their campsite to float around in, dive off rocks, have a picnic, and hang out with their new friends. I only got a few pages read, Maggie told Kevin, holding the Mojave Crossing paperback up, but I like it. When I'm reading, I'm also thinking about my dad and Tom. It's sad my mother lost 2 husbands. Lamore is also a really good writer, Maggie continued. I remember his characters feel like someone you can connect with. I feel for poor Tell already. That woman wrapped him right around her finger. He's too anxious to help her. I'll read more later when we go to the river. End of Part 4.